Welcome to the Manhattan Tri Club Leading from the Front podcast. We're back. This is episode number 12. It's good to have a consistent recording here. We're having fun doing this. So we're a three-person show tonight. We have April, hello,
Hello.
and Grace,
Hi, everybody.
and Chad. So how's everybody doing? We got kind of a cool casual show tonight. We're going to talk about transitions and free speed and funny stuff that happens during the races and transitions and how important they are. Really, for any distance triathlon, from sprints all the way to full Ironman. So that's going to be fun. We got a nice little outline that April prepared for us gave us our talking points.
That we never follow.
We never follow, but we try. So what's cooking? What's new in the Tri Club world today?
Well, I visited Val today from Body and Sync, and
Val was our first live guest.
yes, our guinea pig. And I've been going to her. I think this is my third week that I went and saw her. Sid and I may or may not have been drinking margaritas and thought that we could do flips and flip each other and handstands and stuff. And I may or may not have injured my collarbone when I did that. But I've always had like this upper back leg tightness. So today, though, I was super excited to see her because right afterwards I went for a run. I was like, Val, don't make me do any work today either because she's been giving me these exercises to make like different parts of my back stronger so I don't like pull my traps up so hard. And I was like, Val, I'm just so tired. Can we just do stretching today? I felt amazing. I went for a 13-mile run today and I felt like my shoulder blades, like, I don't know, slid across my back so much easier. She described it to me as like my ribs are like too round in my back and like stick out in the back. And so I need to like get those muscles in the middle stronger so that I can pull my shoulder blades back. I felt like I could have ran a marathon today. It was incredible. I could breathe. It was so good.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
You know, I was listening to a guy talk on running form, and he used a kind of a cool cue that might help you with your posture if that's your problem. And he said, pretend like there's a string coming out of the top of your head all the way to the ground, and you want to keep your spine, your neck, your chin on that, all in line with that string, and it keeps you extended. It's just like swimming. They drill into us. We lengthen, long and reach and posture and tautness, and so that's good. Val certainly knows.
Yeah. And yeah, I think that's a really good cue, but I don't know that I 3 weeks ago could have physically done that because everything was so tight in my chest and so rounded this way. And everything in like when I did gymnastics growing up and then was an acrobat, and everything in that is hands over your head and like hollow hold. And so you are almost a little bit rounded always in just the way that like you're, I don't know how the dynamics of gymnastics, whatever. And this is totally different. Like to have to run is like pulled back and up. Same thing. Like she had me doing strokes on the table. And I was like, Val, it is so much work to even just get my elbow back far enough. I feel like I have a 50-pound weight in my hand. So yeah. So today it was like a big success. It felt like a big win today that I was able to like open up my chest and be able to breathe and pull those shoulder blades back. It felt so good.
That's awesome, and it took me a while to figure out that going to, as the Europeans and the Brits call them, the physio, but our PTs like Val it's so necessary sometimes because you're not going to be able to loosen things up, and she does the dry needling. Wait till you get some of that done, and that like instantly will loosen things up. Grace, how many times did we cross paths and didn't even know it? Where you're coming out and I'm going in, or
Yeah.
Val's like, "Hey," but so
Yeah.
before we move on though, just uh, have to pick the bone that I've been picking at a little bit about that injury, and that there was some sneakiness around the margaritas and the gymnastics and the injury to the collarbone, and I don't know if that was intentional. Let's not tell Chad, but I think Chad was the last one to know.
Well, if you don't ask a question, like I'm not going to tell you I was being a jackass and hurt myself. There was no sneakiness about it. It was just like, I'm not going to tell you I was screwing around.
Yeah.
But you should expect April's been, if she's injured, she's been screwing around.
Yeah.
That's usually how that works. But speaking of crossing paths, I saw Karen this morning also when I was coming into Val's. She was leaving Val's for a knee thing she's got going on. And she wanted to, I'm going to hate saying this, she wanted us to let her know when we're going to do open water swimming at the quarry.
Did you tell her that the first one was scheduled last Friday and Chad got blown off by everybody?
I actually did. I'm not lying. I actually did. And she was like, oh, yeah, it was too cold. I don't want to go when it's cold. But we definitely need to go before Rockford. I was like, yes, deal.
Well, I didn't go on Friday because we did a long bike ride on Friday instead. So that was a decent trade off. But I luckily got in and did an open water swim on Sunday out in Michigan. We went to Michigan for the weekend, and that water was cold. I think the temperature was probably 60, 61. Had the wetsuit, um, did like 1,100 yards. Felt good, but there was some sections where the lake, I try to like swim along the shoreline. So it's relatively shallow. Some areas you can stand up. Most you can't, but you can still see the bottom. So the areas that you can see the bottom water temperature, you get used to that temperature. But then when you go over like a deep section, you would get like immediate brain freeze. And I would have to pull up and kind of like catch your breath because I bet you that water dropped 5 to 10 degrees colder than what I was swimming in. It was fun.
You
I
need
was
one of
glad to get out.
those swim caps, those
Oh yeah,
what are
that
they
buckle.
called?
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you thought a bike helmet was nerdy, like those things are something.
I've seen I've seen some experienced triathlon or triathletes wearing that chin strap. Looks like an old like 1930s football helmet in LA Fitness pool, and like rocking it like they're like it's supposed to
Ditto.
happen.
Yeah,
You also did a bike ride though on Saturday with Grace. Grace, did you get to use your power pedals?
I did. I did.
Yes.
It was
And
very exciting, but I'm still getting used to them because that was the first time I ever used them, and my power was kind of jumping all over. But it was cool to be able to ask Chad, like, "Hey, my power is this. Is that where it's supposed to be, or what does it mean?" So yeah, it was cool. I
perfect.
definitely have to use them more as much as I can before Rockford, so I kind of know where I want to be when I'm riding.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to rat Grace out too on something that happened. With the new pedals, Grace is used to just standard like SPD pedals for gravel bikes, and they're a little bit easier to clip in and out of. The we She's got Asiomo Favero Asiomo power pedals now, so they use the Look Keo cleat, and it's a little bit tougher, and you can adjust the tension on it. And actually, I think we've all got those same pedals now. I've been wearing that. I started Mark Higgins when he built my first bike, put the Look Keo on. And I just stuck with them. I learned to use them and I liked them. And so Grace has only ridden probably a handful of times with the new pedals, and so we're out, and she came to a complete stop and leaned the wrong way and tipped over and fell. And she was like, "Damn it!" And she goes, "Did April fall yesterday?" And I said no. She's like, shit. So then she texted April at the right then. She's like, I freaking fell.
Call number one.
And yeah,
I can't be the only one falling over when I'm at a dead stop.
You're not.
You know what's happening. There's not a thing you can do about it.
yeah,
Here we go.
Yep.
yeah. But we had a couple of good rides. Well, April. I think I was looking at your Strava, and that was your longest ride to date. Was that ride we did
Yeah.
on Friday?
Yeah, like
And
60 miles. Yeah.
we did like a little over 4 hours, and we chilled. It was really windy, so we did some chilling. We pressed a little bit, but we went down. For those of you listening, Mike Murphy posted, I think, on Facebook that the bridge on Pauling by the Moni Reservoirs closed. They're rebuilding it, so you can't get across. We snuck across, and it was closed.
Only
Once they
there, though.
start
Yeah.
once they start ripping it out, you're not going to be able to do that. So getting across to Indiana Grant Park, you're going to have to find another crossing like further south. But we went all the way down, almost to the Indiana border, and then turned around and came back. And those roads are really nice. And I'm glad you got to see that, because it's a little bit different than even riding around Manhattan, and south of us, because it seems like the people are friendlier. They're all farmers. They wave to you. They don't buzz you in their cars. And that as soon as you get past Harlem coming back, that's when the Teslas start to buzz you. And
Yeah. I'm
but
curious if
it's
Saturday was the same way though, because it rained Friday night. Friday, all the farmers were out like tilling and planting, and
yeah,
my lungs felt so crispy on Saturday. Like they were just, it felt like I had a cold, just like that ache in your lungs. How
yeah.
was it Saturday since it rained like the night before?
Saturday the dust was down, and we went a little bit different route. We didn't. We went a little bit north, up Eastern, and then took Delaney all the way across to,
Mm.
into like the Center Point truck terminal through Elwood, and they
There's a
were
lot
the
of traffic. Yeah.
A lot of what?
Traffic.
Oh, yeah.
we actually had a lot of traffic. I couldn't believe it, and they were doing. I guess they reopened the drag strip in Joliet, and we were going there, and people were lined up to pull in pulling in. They were tailgating out there. And it was interesting because you never know who's a cycle friendly or not, and you sometimes you assume. Grace, I don't think you noticed this, but I was saving it for the podcast. They had the road coned off, and there was cars, so many cars coming behind us. We were headed west, and you got to the entrance into the drag strip, and they had it coned so that cars could continue to go west, or they would pull into this turn lane and then going the other way coming east. They were so he had cars pulling in there, but there was a bypass lane, and it was a narrow one lane. And Grace was up ahead of me a little bit. I was fidgeting with a water bottle or something, and she went through it. There was two sheriffs or Joliet police. I don't know who they were with. And I waved. I just did this to one of them, and one of the cops looked at me, and he's like this. He's like, "Why are you guys even here?" And I, I sometimes get a little bit over, reacted. I'm like, "Fuck you, dude,"
No, I didn't
and
miss that. I missed that.
I just kept riding. But you would think that the police, they have to be sympathetic, but this guy, he clearly didn't think we belonged there, and he made it known, and I made it known how I felt back. So
You're like,
I
didn't
told
didn't look at the event schedule before I decided my route, man. Now I
that's
know.
right.
Now I know.
And I told my wife, she's like, you really shouldn't do that to a police officer. And I'm like, yeah, but I know a better police officer, and she's a state
Yeah.
trooper.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it was a good route, all things considered. went through Elwood, came back. We did like 2.5, almost 3 hours, I think. Um, and that was a good day. It was a good couple days. So I was glad I could ride with both of you guys.
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah. I'm glad that you're the pro cyclist so that we
I
get to
Yes.
do
am
that.
not the pro cyclist.
So that we can go out on the
Elite.
roads and fall over.
Yeah. Grace, did you do that like hour and a half, 2 hour run afterwards too?
She did not.
I listened to Coach Chad who said do it the next
Oh, good. Okay.
did it the next day because I was
Okay.
like,
Yeah, that sounds crazy. I think we do need to put up periodically on Facebook or social media like that poster that I made where it's like 1 day, 1 ride since my last bike
yeah,
fall.
yeah.
That was funny. We should post that. That was funny. I want to get that sign.
Uh,
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's
print it. I'm sure someone will print it for you.
the past couple shows have been pretty cool for us. I think we've had our my dermatologist on talking about skin health. We had our Dr. Herbenek, orthopedic surgeon, on last time. Um, 'Cause there's been a lot of views there, and Illinois Bone and Joint have been really gracious. And April, our chief marketing officer, is working with them to help market the not only the show but or primarily Dr. Herbenek and him coming on a podcast, and hopefully that gets us a few more listeners. But that was fun, and we there's other doctors there that were lobbying to try and get on, like Dr. Dean that did Bridget's surgery. So we're April planted the seed, and Grace is gonna, drive it home, close the deal in a couple weeks when her daughter goes there. But I think that it's people really like those kind of guests and those kind of shows because it it really puts a human element or human face to medical care, and that Dr. Herbenek, for instance, rides bikes, he gravel races, and they're just normal people, just like us. They just happen to be super smart, and they know everything about our bodies, and they know how to fix us. It's no different than what we do for a living. With April, your job, and Grace as an attorney, and me as a construction guy, we all are experts in our fields.
Chad clearly does not know what I'm doing. He's like, April, your job.
I do know what you do.
Got it.
Whatever.
You work. I'll tell everybody what you do. You work for Eddie Bauer group of companies, which is really cool. You probably have a ton of
I
free
don't. They
stuff,
all closed. Eddie Power's gone. I work in communications and operations. Yes. I'll give you
which
that.
is marketing. In my book, that's marketing. You know how to
No.
communicate with people. But we promoted you to chief marketing officer for the Manhattan
Yes.
Tri Club,
Yes. Yes.
and
Yes.
you're the best one with technology. You help Grace and me for sure. You really help Bridget. And whenever somebody has a technical problem, they don't call Chad, they don't call Grace, they call April.
Can I get that little blurb on my LinkedIn? Just call
You can.
April.
Well, I think it
Thank you.
was funny because some people know we've been working with Zoot. They designed a custom suit for us, tri-suit, and a lot of people ordered them. We're still waiting for final confirmation on when we're going to have them, and we're fingers crossed, hopefully going to have them on June or for the June 14th race. But funny little story is we've been going back and forth with them, and April signed from her Gmail account. She put chief marketing officer in this title block, and she did it with the Illinois Bone and Joint people too, with
Yeah.
the Manhattan Tri Club logo. So we got official signature blocks in our emails.
Yeah. Yeah. It's official. Like we know what we're talking about here.
It is sometimes.
Sometimes. Too funny. All right. Should we get to our topic today?
Let's do it. What are we
All
talking
right.
about?
We are talking about free speed and more specifically, how we can get better at transitions.
Transitions. Should we start with horror stories about transitions, or
Yes, please.
should we explain? Because there might be new listeners that really don't know what T1, T2 are, that maybe are thinking about doing triathlon or haven't done one and they stumbled onto our podcast. But T1 is transition one. So when you come out of the swim, you go to your bike. Your bike is set up at T1. And in most races, it's T1 and T2. But um, the you come out of the water, all your stuff is by your bike. We're going to go through different, races and how things are laid out for the different distances, but they're very important. You In these races, you see a lot of people dallying around, taking way more time than they need to, and I have been guilty of that. First couple races of my own, I'm like, all right, I just need to chill out. I'm not getting in a hurry. I don't want to forget anything. And then you start to get more comfortable. You get better at it. But mistakes happen even at the pro level. You see their races, and people make mistakes and cost them the race sometimes. But a funny, not funny horror story for me was in my second full Ironman, which was last year. I I was like neurotic. I got to T1 at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, still dark out. I'm tinkering with the bike and freaking out about the swim. I don't want to forget things. And my wife was with me, but she couldn't come into transition. And so I'm setting the bike up. I get my shoes on the clips, rubber band them to the crank so that I can just get on the bike, put my feet in the shoes, and then it breaks the rubber bands off. If you guys have seen that trick, right? If you haven't, I'll show it to you. But it's pretty slick. Some people just put their shoes on first, and that's just totally fine. But I bet with you guys on the bikes, we've been working on power. Look at your computer try and hold your power, keep it consistent. Doesn't matter what your power numbers are, but you want to have a target for training. You want to have a target for your race. You want to monitor your power and your heart rate. And if they sometimes, not always, coincide. So if your power's up, your heart rate's going up too. And um, the the horror story for me is I train with the bike computer. I train the power, train the heart rate, and I got my bike all set up. I go to the swim. I did the swim faster than I ever thought I could have done the swim. Come out, get the wetsuit off, see my wife come around the corner. I gave her a hug. I'm like, I can't believe I just did that. Run up this hill, go through transition. I grab my bag. I got the wetsuit in my hand. I throw it back in the bag, give it to the person or the volunteer, run through transition, get on my bike, come right through the start mount line, get on the bike, and my bike computer is not on my bike. And I'm thinking, while I'm in mid race, somebody stole my bike computer. And I just, for the next, I don't know, 5 miles, I'm fidgeting with my watch, trying to get my watch turned on so I can at least see speed and heart rate. Don't have power. And did the whole 112-mile race without a bike computer, without power, and had to do it by heart rate and speed, basically, in a super hot day. I was so stressed out in transition before the race that I put the bike computer on the bike. Then I took it off, put it back in the bag, gave my wife the bag. I went to swim start, thinking I'll get it from her when I come out of the transition. I come out of transition, I see her, and I said, "Do you have my bag?" And she's like, "No." I'm like, "Somebody stole my bike computer," because I had a second computer in the bag. And she's like, "I took the bag back to the room," because she had an hour to kill. She took it back to the hotel and So that's why that was my horror story. And I think it's a good story because you, you have to do the race whether you have a bike computer or not, and you've trained all summer long, so you know how it feels, and you just really have to go back to feel and how you're pedaling the bike. You know if you're overdoing it. You know what what your capabilities are if you can push it a little bit. And I probably could have done a lot better on the bike if I had in my head known and been in a better mental space. But there's a horror story for to start off the transition discussion. How's that one?
It sounds like you need to start riding your bike every third without a bike computer or something.
Yeah.
This reminds me, do you know that story about Michael Phelps and how his coach made him swim without goggles, or he would turn the lights off in the pool, or like throw all these weird scenarios at him because if it happened in a race, he needed to be prepared. So I think every few rides, you should probably take that computer off and just ride.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to forget the bike computer again like I did. I'm probably not going to do that because
So no, April.
Okay.
Oh.
but I do have to look, and maybe I will see if there's a way to put power on your Garmin watch. There's got to be a way that you can sync with the power meter.
That's funny.
So
See, no one has to take our advice. We're just, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
that's
how it
right.
works for us.
Yeah, that is for,
Clearly,
for
Chad's not
real.
going to take mine.
So what kind of horror story? We're all rookies at this too, by the way. Grace probably has the most races under her belt. I
Yeah.
I would think.
I have
I have four.
I have a
No, I
super,
have five.
a sprint, two Olympics, and a half.
I have two fulls, one swim canceled, a half, an Olympic, and a sprint.
The only horror story I have, and for me it was horrible, or I thought it would be. It was better than I thought it would be. At the half in Rockford last year, I left all my fuel for the bike at transition. I got on the bike, I rode off, and I had no fuel. I did have electrolytes in my water bottle, but I had no carbs. I had no booze, no anything. And my plan was to probably be taking something in every 20 to 35 minutes. So I'm like, all right, I just have to make it to 15 miles and eat whatever they give me. And it was fine. I
And you
did it.
survived.
Yeah, I survived.
Did you have
But
water at least? You just didn't have your
yeah,
nutrition?
I had two water bottles. I just had no nutrition. And
Okay.
I was totally fine, but I was worried at the time that I wouldn't be.
Yeah, because that's a whole hour. What, like a little over an hour into your bike, probably?
Yeah, about an
Yeah,
hour. Yeah.
third of the way through. Yeah, that
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah, when
Um,
you need those aid stations, and they're 15 to 20 miles apart.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a long way.
Yeah.
yeah. I don't have a horror story, but I do have a story of like, I can't believe I did that, and I hope I don't take anything home with me. I, in transitions, I'm so delirious. Like, I have no mental capacity at all. Like, I don't, my brain goes to mush. I walked into a porta potty with no shoes on.
Ooh,
Don't do that. Don't do
that,
that.
that's a horror story.
Yeah. Luckily I didn't take anything home and everything was fine, but still like after the day, I was like, that was disgusting. Don't ever do that again. Like there's a lot of things that you'll tolerate when your body's just trying to survive, but that should never be one of them.
Well,
Yeah, and the mid-race porta potties, we don't even need to start talking about those. When you get on the run, mile 13 or 14, you hope you don't have to go into those porta johns.
Yeah.
no, no.
But all right, let's stay on track here. We're talking about transitions,
Wait, I will
and
say though, it was an early porta potty. It was right after the swim that I did. So it was not an end of the race
So they weren't
emergency
dirty
porta potty.
yet. Yes. Yeah. And you just got out of the Rockford River. I mean, what's the difference?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Probably
Right?
the same as swimming in a porta potty.
Yes.
Lovely. So excited to
Next
do it
time
again
I'll be in
in
a
a
porta
month.
potty. Yeah. Oh, so yes, transitions are important because why? Why are they
Well,
important?
I think they're important. The main thing is it's free time if you do it right. It reduces stress because you
Wait. Time out.
plan
Time out. I
you
think you just misspoke. It's not free time. We're not like screwing around free time. We're not drinking
right
margaritas on our free
right.
time.
Yes, and that's why it reduces stress.
It's free time gains.
Yeah,
Free
free
time
speed.
gains.
Free speed.
Free speed.
Time games. Time games.
You can
Games.
catch up with somebody if you're faster in transition than they are, or you can blow past them, right?
Well, I think there's. I was telling my wife today because I'm doing the an Olympic this weekend, and I, there's just so much stuff going on in your head. My race is Sunday, and I'm already now like going through my checklist. What do I need to bring? What do I need to pack? I started packing my car with all the bike stuff, the tools, and I I, I over plan for contingencies. Try to make sure that I've got if whatever tool I think I'm going to need, and I've always got way too much fuel. I started loading up fuel. The better prepared you can be in the week before your race, especially for an Olympic it's not a joke. It's a serious race. It's a mile swim. Water temperature is under 60 degrees is what they're reporting right now. So it's going to be a cold swim, 25-mile bike, and a 10K run. And you can you can get through that if you're trained. Um, but it helps to plan. And so I start going through this checklist this early, and I'm starting to pack the truck with the bike stuff, starting to get my gear laid out, and the the one trick that I've seen people put on Facebook is so that you do it right. Put all your stuff in a bag or on like a Ziploc bag or whatever it's. You put your nutrition on one bag, you put your run gear in another bag, you put your cycle gear in another bag, or your tri suit, whatever you're going to be wearing. Have it all set out in bags. Take a picture of it so that when you start thinking the next morning or the you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, did I think I forgot to pack that. Just look at your
I
picture.
think someone stole
Everything
my
that's
bike computer.
right? Everything that's in your picture is already in your bag, so go back to sleep. So I think that the time gains just peace of mind knowing that you have everything you need, you plan for it, you've trained for it. It is really important. Getting through the actual transition uh, physically, that's pretty easy. It's all the little stuff that we have. There's very specific rules around touching your bike, getting on your bike, and they'll even give you a penalty as an age grouper if you do some things wrong. We'll get into kind of when we talk about T1, T2, the specifics, but um, I think definitely reduces stress and helps you get more mentally prepared for the actual race. If you're worried about your nutrition, for instance, you need to know that you got your nutrition. What you plan for, you got it. You don't need to worry about that. And I think that's a
Unless,
place where
yeah,
everybody can really focus and practice. I think you need to practice your transitions in training. And, um, that's something that I think we'll all do as a group again. Um, I've done it. I know a lot of people do it. Some people don't do it, and that's fine too. But just what works for you. I'm a little more anal and neurotic about some things, and I want to make sure that I'm dialed in.
Yeah, and I'm like, meh. I got a bike and running shoes. I'm good.
like your tires.
Yeah. Yeah, for my 4-hour ride, I showed up to meet Chad, and he's like, "Did you check your tires?" I was like, "I mean, I looked at them when I put my bike on the rack." He's like, "You need to pump up these tires; they're almost flat." Okay, so I started my ride with you.
Tools? What tools am I supposed to have in my bag? I don't travel. Well, sometimes I do travel with tools in the hopes that somebody else will know what to do with them if I have an issue.
Or just like that picture, Chad gave us a whole packet of bike information that's sitting
Right.
right here. Sitting right here on my desk because I was studying. But if you're watching us on YouTube, you can see this picture. The first thing I thought of when he gave us this packet, I was like, "Oh, do we get stuff for our spokes now? That's pretty sweet." He's like, "That's a tire tool, man." Oh, okay. Got it. So you got some type A, type B on this team. All right, should we talk
Well,
T1?
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So transition 1, your swim to your bike.
Swim to
I
your bike. Go for it, Grace.
Yep, I just have one thing. This only happened to me one time, knock on wood. I hope it doesn't ever happen again. I think it was the first Olympic I did when I was getting out of the water. I got the spins so bad. I was about to go like face plant down. Um, and I know that's a fairly common thing that can happen. Something about I think your heart rate or your blood pressure spiking because you're going from horizontal to vertical so quickly, or you've been horizontal so long. So I know everybody says that just really make sure that last like couple hundred meters you're kicking your legs to get things back to normal and your body ready for the transition. So I would recommend that. That was really scary and I had no idea what was happening to me. Didn't last long. I was fine, but I could have, there were wetsuit strippers there, and I think that's why I didn't face plant.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Yeah. I told the story on, I think, when I was talking about the Chattanooga race. The wetsuit stripper saved me from face planting. And when she got my wetsuit off and I went to stand up, and I just, everything started to spin and I started to fall forward. And I reached around her, grabbed her, and I had one butt cheek in each hand. And I was like, I am so sorry. She's like, I'm just glad you didn't fall.
yeah, it's a real thing, and it's not fun. But
Yeah.
kick those
Yeah.
legs before you get out for a while.
But I think that's a good point to before we even start talking about transitions. Like at the end of your whatever segment you're on, you need to prepare yourself for that transition because your body physically goes through a transition. And it's not just like what new gear do I need to move on to the next leg.
Yeah. And Grace just absolutely touched on a very critical point, and it's going into transition. So in the swim, you start to relax and you get into a rhythm, and you bring your heart rate down. That's what we want to do in the swim. The last 100 yards or so, 150 yards, start kicking and pick up your speed and get that heart rate up. You're almost at the finish, and once you get that heart rate up, then when you go vertical, your heart rate doesn't have much room to spike, and that'll stop that vertigo type feeling. Same again on the bike. When you transition off of the bike into T2, you're going to start running, and you're going to be running on jelly legs for a while because you're locked into this repetitive cycle motion for whatever the distance is that you're racing. The thing to do on the bike is kick your cadence up. So if you're riding at 80 RPM and you're watching your cadence and that's what you're trying to hold, get up to like 95 or 100 for the last, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5 miles of the bike, and that it starts to flush the lactate out, get your heart rate up, and then you can kind of get through transition, methodically, because you're going to have it all in your head. Here's my sequence. Here's what I need to do. And you got your body warmed up. So your body doesn't fail you. Your head doesn't fail you, and you're prepared for your race. I think that's a very critical point that Grace pointed out there. So a couple of the tips: wetsuit removal. In most of the medium long distance races, there's wetsuit strippers. Some of the short races, they do have them as well. We'll talk about the debates on whether or not to wear a wetsuit for sprints or not. But wetsuit removal, if there's strippers there, use the strippers. It makes life so much easier.
And then
And
you won't get cramps. I feel like it's even with my calf sleeves. I try and pull
yeah,
off those freaking at the bottom of my legs and I get cramps in my legs all the time
yeah,
because I'm trying to bend my legs all weird. Yeah, strippers. That's the way to go. It's the only time
and
I will
they
promote strippers.
and they had so much fun too because they
Bring
always
your
have T-shirts that say they're the strippers, and
What'd you say, Grace?
bring your singles.
Yes, yes. Singles.
I've heard of people doing that. They actually have them keep them in their wetsuits, and I've heard of that. But
That's funny.
um, find your bike. Know where your bike is in the big Ironman distance races, half and full. There's lots of bikes. There's 2,000 bikes there, and know where you're at, and mentally take a picture of, all right, here's walk your do visualize where your bike is, and look for landmarks. Find spots where you can reference, because you will be disoriented when you get out of the water. You will be disoriented when you get off of the bike. The nice part, really nice part about the full Ironman, most full Ironmans, they take your bike at the dismount line and they rack it for you, so you don't go back to you don't go back to your bike uh, location. They take your bike, you run through this little chute, find your bag. Your bag's got your number on it. You take your bag, you go into the tent, and then you do your thing, whether you're doing a full change or putting on your run shoes and your glasses, whatever. But um, know where your bike's at. Um, the biggest rule that gets broken is when people come in to T1 and they grab their bike first. You cannot touch your bike until you have your helmet on and chin strap buckled, and they are sitting there watching you because they don't want people to get out of T1 without their chin strap buckled, because a loose helmet's not good, and there's liability. They don't want people to get hurt. So that's the helmet first rule, and practice that. Get in the habit of going from even if you're not doing a quote brick swim to bike, because most people don't do a lot of those. Um, Practice, running up to your bike, putting your helmet on, and then do whatever else your sequence is. But helmet first. Sunglasses depends on your helmet. You might have a visor. Um, you might have a helmet where your glasses can slide into the vents. Um, Shoes on the bike versus shoes in transition. So that's a debate. Some people um, think that it's faster to clip your shoes into the clips, rubber band them, and then get on the bike and then start pedaling barefoot, or however whatever clothing you decide to wear on your feet. um,
This is where my communications brain is like, oh, I'll put underwear on my feet. What do you mean clothing? Instead, I do whatever clothing.
right. Um, but the some people, I personally, I'm not good enough or fast enough for it to make a difference to do the to worry about whether my shoes are clipped in or not. If it's I, I, I've done it both ways, and I don't think that I've gained speed either way. Where you put your shoes on and then you get on the bike, or you have your shoes already clipped in and you go. That part, um, to me, I think I'm neutral on. The pros obviously all do it where they do the flying mount. Um, I think for age groupers, the flying mount isn't worth it. I think that you see more people fail than success.
Is that
Be
a challenge?
methodical.
Is that a
I
challenge?
It is not a challenge. It is not a challenge.
That's not what I heard.
Grace, help me out.
Grace is on mute. Challenge accepted.
Not a challenge.
Not, thank you.
I have
For
daughters.
you, but for me,
No,
no,
we
she
can't
says.
even like we haven't mastered not falling off of our bikes when they're stationary, so we should not yet.
But maybe it might be easier to put on shoes than clip in. Like,
Maybe. My question is though, if the shoes are clipped into the pedals, how are you tightening the shoes?
While you're riding, that's why it's
just lean
dangerous.
over.
Oh no, just lean over. Yeah.
That's okay, Grace. The other day, I was talking to Chad on the bike about my hamstrings, and like, he's like, "Oh, do this drill. It's really good to like strengthen your hamstrings." And I was like, "Okay," so I did it, and he's like, "But don't do it until you're on your trainer." And I was like, "I'm already mid drill. I don't know what you're talking about. My foot's out."
Oh,
So I think it's smart. I think we should try it. I think we can do it.
I think we can try and practice it, and we'll see how it goes. And then I'll practice it with you guys. But you, as long as we pinky swear that if I say that, and only I get the call on this, if I say that we should do it as a no go for the race, we all agree not to do it on the race.
Okay, fair enough. But we will try
Okay,
it. We are going
we'll
to
try
try
it.
it.
with or without margarita?
That might be more fun with margaritas.
Yeah.
So
Got to
less
stay on our
Flip
block though,
turns,
so we don't get
more
DUIs.
relaxed with margaritas. Less
Yeah,
flip
yeah.
turns,
flip
bike
turn.
flying mounts, and margaritas.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so are we wearing socks or are we not wearing socks on our bike?
I'm
We're
wearing
putting
socks.
socks on. You're wearing socks?
Yeah.
I go back and forth on like a sprint or an Olympic. I won't wear socks on the bike. I will wear socks on the. I'll change in T2. I'll put socks on in my running shoes, but I go barefoot without socks on the bike. For
And
the for half and a full, I won't do it because
you'll wear socks. You
uh,
will wear socks.
I will wear. I'll wear cycle socks because or if I wear compression sleeves on my calves, then I haven't decided if I'm doing that for Rockford yet. If I wear compression sleeves, I will probably go no socks for Rockford. But for the full distance, I will go socks all day.
Mm. And Grace, every distance, socks.
No, sprint I wouldn't wear socks probably. Not sprint
Okay.
or super sprint. Olympic maybe. I always have, but I've only done two, so.
For me, everybody I think has different areas that cramp. Um, April, yours is your calves. Mine used to be my calves and my hamstrings, but now on the bike, it's my feet. My feet will cramp real bad on the really long rides, usually when it's hot, and it tells me I'm not getting enough carbs or electrolytes. But once they start to cramp, it's really hard to recover from that. And I found that wearing socks and that compression is far more beneficial for me than trying to tough it out and go without socks on the
Mm.
bike.
I just don't
True
like the feel
cyclists.
in my shoes.
You
Like,
really save. What? You don't feel good in your shoes with socks?
no, I don't like it.
Oh, then go barefoot.
No, I'm sorry. I don't know what I just said, but I mean without socks. I don't like it without socks.
Oh, I don't either.
Yeah,
That's
feels
why
weird.
like the short one I could because it's like a sprint because it's so
Yeah,
short.
yeah,
But I don't like it either. It kind of grosses me out. I don't know why.
yeah. It's just sticky. Everything feels sticky in there.
All of the like tried and true cyclists, they do not condone not wearing socks, and they make fun of us when we don't wear socks.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, then I'm doing the right thing. Okay.
I've personally been the target of attacks.
You have trolls, Chad? Jeez.
Yeah, yeah. You know one of them. She's
Yeah,
downstairs.
I was gonna say. You have more than one? Two? Sean, too?
Yeah, they're definitely both.
That's funny.
So the other thing that we probably talk about is the hot spots and rashes and chafing, and we've talked about all that stuff before. But you know, really, for lack of a better word, lube yourself up for the swim. Make sure you get
The swim?
whether yeah, oh yeah, before, because if you're if you're wearing a wetsuit, you'll get those rub spots. I usually get it like on
Like
the
the
back of my
private,
neck.
you don't lose your privacy.
No,
Okay.
well,
Yes, the spray, like the Tri-Glide spray or whatever. Yes.
I actually before the swim, I put the chamois cream on, so I'm ready for the bike already in that area, that department.
Okay. So it doesn't come off?
It probably does, but I always kind of it depends on the distance again. Sprint Olympic, I'm not really worried about it. Half iron and iron, I need it.
You
So
reapply.
at transition, I'll reapply. But it just those little packets that I think you were handing those little things out last year. I'll already have it on, so all you need is that little packet to kind of touch things up down in those areas.
What about you, April?
Um, I'm going to use one of Chad's terms. I don't have as much chafing in my undercarriage, but I do have like I need it in my thighs and like not my armpits, but like my I don't know, like the middle of my bicep. And I think it's because of our bra line, like our sports bra line, and
I
like any kind of tank is going to hit you. Yeah, any tank is going to hit you like mid arm. So I'm always like, some glide under my arms. And then I get like a bathing suit one too, like around my neck if I wear a certain thickness of strap. So yeah, I'm lubing up just in different spots compared to Chad.
Yep. Yeah, just make sure. I mean, they say wearing wetsuits don't use Vaseline, but a lot of people do. Just a little dab of Vaseline around your neck. The key is to uh, I always bring like the disposable rubber gloves so that you don't get that stuff on your hands, and so you can put it on and when you're getting ready, and yeah, you can hit your eyes. Same with sunblock. Um,
That's a good
practice your
idea.
wetsuit. Practice your wetsuit stripping, because you might miss the strippers or they might not be there, or you never know. So getting out of a wetsuit is can be a challenge, and I encourage you to watch videos. There's videos on how to do it. You can step on your other leg and kind of yank your leg out, and, but there's always that risk of cramping up. So just be ready.
Yeah, get to the strippers.
Strippers rock.
All right. What about T2? We're going bike to run now. What's our plan
Bike
here?
to run. So for me, like I said, the plan, kick your cadence up the last, you know, 3 to 5 miles. Um, and you can you'll start to feel your legs, kind of wake up a little bit from being numb from riding, and your butt's going to be hurting at that point. So I'm talking full distance, but in any distance, really, you want to get ready for the run. You want get that cadence up, get the blood flowing, flush the lactate out, and uh, every time you come off of the bike and start to run, you're going to run faster than you think you're running and faster than you should. Start slow and then build into it, because you don't want to start cramping up. You don't need to go out and try and set any records coming out of T2. But T2 for me has always been a pretty easy transition because I wear the tri suit. You got to you take your helmet off, you get everything back. You don't want to get a penalty for having your stuff spread out. Like at Rockford, there wasn't as many marshals or people looking because people's stuff was all just scattered. But when I got into T2, but try to keep your stuff under your bike. Be respectful of others. Everybody's there to do the same thing and race, but um, the if you have effectively flushed the lactate out of your legs, coming into T2, you should be able to go quick and have your stuff laid out in the order that you're going to put it on, and you do that before you actually go into the swim. So you have your T2 set up. Full Ironman's different because your stuff's all in a bag, and you take your bag into a tent, and then you go get ready there, and then the volunteers take your bag from you. So, I think since we're all doing Rockford, we know that's in a month, so we know what that transition looks like. Although they did change the transition, it's on a paved area now. Did you hear that?
Oh,
It's not in that park. That park is all under construction. So it's all in a paved parking lot area. I think it was a parking lot that we all parked in when we pre-rode the course, right next to the hotel there. And so for all of your stuff's going to be under your bike in Rockford, and lay your run gear out. For me, I put my glasses, my socks, a little bit of sunblock. I put it all in my hat, and I leave the hat there. Put that right next to my shoes. So when I come in, I take all my helmet off, put the helmet back, take the bike shoes off, you leave them there. We didn't talk about the dismount, which we can talk about. So let me back up here, because this is actually more fun to try. Is taking your shoes off while you're riding to get into the dismount line. And so you guys have all watched some of the pros. That's how they do it. They come in and their feet are on top of the shoes by the time they hit that last half a mile, and they just jump off their bike, and then the people take your bike.
This might
doing
be
that
for us, Grace. Yeah, this might be the answer.
That's a more fun thing to try, because while you're pedaling, you get a pedal stroke, get your knee up, and you unbuckle. You got to loosen the BOA ties, or the BOA thingies, and then pop your heel out, and then you can pull your foot out, and then you just pedal on top of your shoes, and then you work on that dismount. And I've fallen in practice just trying it, because you start to wobble a little bit, and then you go over the bike instead of coming off of the bike. So, but we can try it. That's another thing that we can try, the flying dismount rather than the flying mount. I think that'd be a better use of our time.
We'll start there then. We'll start there, work our way to the flying mount.
So I think that if you can master that, there is some benefits to that, because you're not having to stop at the line, unclip, get off, and then handle your bike. It's all, you can get pretty smooth, and we're all athletes. We should all be able to do that.
So and it gets a little crowded there. So the quicker you can get out of the way, and
T2, you should also, coming into T2, that last 5 miles, really start loading up on the carbs. You want to be fully topped off on your carbs as much as you can to be ready for the run. You'll have gels, you'll have some hydration in the transition in T2, but make sure that you've got some extra gels, and you want to take 2 or 3 gels in that last 5 miles, and just be ready to top yourself up so that you can start to run strong and stay strong. The key is not the walk. Some people have the walk run strategy, and that's fine. I walk the transitions in the full Ironmans. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not winning anything, but if you want to be competitive, and there are some younger people that are part of our group, like young Sam, he's doing Rockford. He's competitive. He did his very first Ironman after training on a mountain bike. He did it in sub 6 hours, very first one, and it was hot. That was up in Madison, and so he's doing Rockford this year. That's and awesome. It's exciting to see, because I wish I had started doing this when I was younger. So yeah, cognizant of your nutrition and your hydration, and that's kind of those are my recommendations for T2. How about you guys? What's your experiences been primarily on Rockford? That's our biggest frame of reference, I think, for everybody.
Well, I think there's a common theme between Grace's advice from T1 from swim to bike and yours from bike to run, that like your transition really starts in the last quarter, last fifth of your like whatever leg is, before that. Like your transition starts at the end of that leg of the race so that you don't F up the next leg of your race.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's easy to do if you lose your nutrition. We talk about nutrition over and over being the fourth discipline. Um, it's just so important, and people some people can get away with not paying attention to it. The younger you are, I think the more. But we're a little bit older. Not you, April, but Grace and me. Um, so you do have to. Those things can make or break your race. Whereas if you're 25, you can probably muscle through it. I'm sure if my son decided to start doing triathlon, he'd come out right out of the gate and be able to beat me in most of these races just
Yeah.
because he's younger. Not I'm way more athletic than he is, like miles way more athletic,
Elite.
but
Yes.
that elite compared to him and that age that he probably have a shot. A
Yeah.
funny little side note: I took him to the Cubs game. We went to the Cubs game last night. They lost to the stinking Brewers,
Good.
and one of the uh, we had really good seats. And I asked a lady behind us, "Can you take a picture of us?" And I posted a picture of him and I on Facebook. The Cubs game. A friend of mine who I don't know if he listens to this or not, but he's part of our group, and I went to high school with him. His name is Woody. Sends a comment. He's like, "How freaking tall is he?" He's like, "Jesus."
I saw that picture too.
He-
He looks so tall.
so, oh, sorry about the sidebar there. He's six. He's over 6'4". He's almost closer to 6'5" now.
Holy cow. And he's
Yeah,
still growing? He's in college. We're still growing?
I know. The doctors say he's probably close to being done, but he might get another inch.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
he's still not tall enough for a throat punch, though.
Unfortunately.
Oh.
Funny. Yes, but I think like there's also a mistake that I made last year when going into transition 2. I fully sat down because I was so delirious and just like I think the more that you can, like Chad said, plan your transition, but also make it so that you don't have to think in transition. So Chad set himself up to forget his bike computer because he put it in the bag and had to remember to ask Linda, who already brought it to the hotel. Like that, don't do that. Like put everything there ready to go, label it, stack the things that you're going to use in each transition, and like only put the nutrition you're going to use. Like don't guesstimate, so you don't have to do any math of how many carbs I'm going to use when I get on this bike and how I feel. Like put only what you're going to use in there and put it in a way where you don't have to think when you get in there. Because I got off that bike so delirious and my brain was mush, and I just sat down and was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. Where are we going? What are we doing? Somebody tell me what to do. It
Yeah.
was tough. And I think it was so bad. I think I took like 12 or 15 minutes in that transition because I didn't know what I was supposed to do.
One word of caution for anybody that ever does the full Ironman. This isn't relevant in any other distance because the full is the only one that you have the changing tent, men's and women's, separate. Thank the Lord for that. There is full blown nudity in those tents, and it is not stuff you want to see. there, the last year in Chattanooga, there was a dude that I was sitting down. He came in, sat down, stripped his clothes off. This was going into this was T2, and I was like sitting kitty corner in the corner of the tent, and I had all my stuff spread out. I tried to go where there was no people. This dude sits down, probably my age, bigger guy, takes his clothes off, sits down on the chair, butt naked, and then literally sat there and didn't move for like 5 minutes.
He was confused. He was April, but
He,
naked
yeah.
and male.
So yeah, so you're gonna see stuff, and it's okay.
In and out quick. Yeah, more incentive to make your transition quick.
Yeah. So yeah, so everybody that's out there that listens, you're gonna make mistakes, but plan and ask questions of people that that have done these, and send us questions. Um, and make a checklist and stick with the checklist. I think the key is that put it in writing. Once you put stuff to writing, you'll commit it to memory better than if you just try and remember everything.
I would like to say send your questions to Chad and Grace. Send your nasty horror stories to me.
There you go.
I'll take that. If you send me a question, I'm gonna send it to Grace or Chad anyway.
The one thing I do love, going from bike to run, and we just got April some for her birthday, are the lock laces. I don't know if Chad loves the lock laces. I love them because I'm so weird about tying my shoes and double knotting them and tucking them and this whole thing, that if I have the lock laces, it takes all that stress away. So you don't have to tie them. They're like bungee cords for laces. And there's just like what's it called? Do you know what that's called?
It's like a boa, like a little compression
It-
thingy.
yeah. And you just zip it down and they stay on tight, and you don't have to tie or untie or worry about them coming untied. I love those. Do you like
I don't. I I don't use them. I'd never really had a problem with tying the shoes because I don't. I like my shoes loose. If
Oh,
they're too tight, I blister, and I've got this little, for some reason, um, I I can slip my shoes on. I never untie them, and I never tie them. So once I get them the way I want them, they stay that way forever.
That sounds
And
awful. Don't take Chad's shoe tying advice.
I
no,
tie my
but
shoes so tight.
Yeah, Grace's shoes look like a corset. They're like
yeah.
so tight. Both sides of her shoes on the other opposite sides of her laces are like touching.
Yeah, I can't. Uh, I- I've got to have them loose. I got to have my heel moving around. I got the shoes that work for me. If I try a different shoe, then it's the shoes that I wear are the ones that they better never stop making.
Yeah, I just got rid of a pair of shoes that I kept trying to like fight with, and I'm like, that blister that keeps showing up on my heel. I've given up on those shoes, so whoever would like them, I won't tell you what they are because they're the same brand as the other ones that I love. This model is just not for me, I guess. But I did, to answer your question, Grace, though, I did try my lock laces because Grace gave me a pair for my birthday. I was so excited. Well, everybody gave me a pair for, and I did actually like them, and I was afraid because I thought that bungee was going to like move and have give in it when you ran, and it doesn't. Like it does actually hold your foot in, so it did feel really good. So that's a good race tip though, to use those, so then you can just slip in and go. And I had to, in Rockford last year, I had to pull off to the side and have someone tie my shoes for me because they untied in the middle of the race. So yeah,
To
yes,
worry about.
even more of a reason. Hmm.
Yes.
All right, should we do some rapid fire questions?
Yeah, who's answering these?
You two, I'll ask them. Okay, I know what Chad's answer is going to be on this one, but would you rather forget your nutrition, forget your socks, or forget your bike computer?
Bike
I would
computer.
rather forget my socks.
Would you say,
I didn't
Grace?
bike computer. I didn't even use
Bike
my
computer.
bike computer at the race.
Yeah, same.
But I did monitor my heart rate on my watch, but I didn't use my bike computer.
Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
have believers out of you by the end of the summer.
Yes. Yes. What is your favorite recovery snack immediately after a race? Margaritas.
Yeah, for sure. I don't do recovery snacks. I do like give me a drink and some
A
nachos.
meal.
Yeah, yeah,
I think for me, it's not really a snack, but it's beer.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
don't normally drink a lot of beer, but I always, if they got a cold IPA or a cold beer after the race,
Yeah, ditto.
that's a win for me.
But like on really hot days or you've been working hard, they taste really
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I'm going to stick with the margarita.
good. Yeah, I'll take that too.
What is one thing every beginner forgets?
To relax.
Yeah, I was going to say to have fun.
Yeah. I didn't. I was moving on all vibes last year. I was like, we're just having a good time here. Party pace. Okay. Last one. Besides the naked man, what is the weirdest thing you've seen in a transition?
Oh, I shouldn't have told the naked man story then. Um, oh, I got one. This was I think it was the first year going from,
It's called rapid fire.
I know, I'm trying to think of which race it was though. It was Chattanooga, 2024. No swim again, going into transition, bike to run. There was a dude that transitioned into a banana costume.
Nice.
That's
For a
pretty
full.
weird.
For a full?
Yep. That was for the full. So he ran a marathon in a banana costume. And I'm pretty sure he beat me.
Well, you have to be amazing to do that. Too funny. What about you, Grace? See anything weird?
Haven't seen anything weird. I'm so like you said, like mush brained and focused on doing what I have to do. I'm not paying attention to anybody or
Yeah.
anything.
The people coming out of the port potties barefoot. Britney
Yeah.
Spearsing it.
Yeah. I think one thing that I really try to do myself, I don't always get to do it, or whatever. Pay attention to the other people that you're racing with and that are in transition, because you'll see some people that are seriously struggling, um, whether it's from the heat or just every once in a while, just check on somebody. Hey, dude, you okay?
That
Because
sure. In Rockford on the run, I did a lot of that because there were a
yeah,
lot of people in Rockford struggling. It
yeah,
was
that
hot.
was more of a walk, but
Yeah.
it was a
Yes.
long, hot walk.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. The people
So
I
you guys will
walk
be,
past, I have like this, grind attitude though, where like I should probably pass you first because I'm like, let's go. David Goggins says you're a bitch. Let's keep going. And then Grace right behind me going, are you sure you're okay? So I don't like drive anybody to like, pass out.
so there was one on here that I'm going to give to you, April. Rapid fire.
Okay.
Crocs in transition or at a triathlon in general.
Legal. I have
Elite or
platform.
jail.
Elite. I have platform Crocs. You can wear them anywhere.
I'm going to
But they
say
have to be
jail.
no, they have to be cool, not like the lame ones that, dad I don't even know.
I
My dad doesn't even wear them.
I do they can you use Crocs and cool in the same sentence?
Yeah.
I like April's Crocs.
See?
I do. I do. And
Okay.
I'm not a Croc lover, but every time I see April's at time, I'm like, oh, those are really cool. I wish I had a pair of Crocs.
See? See? Wear them on the pool deck every day. All right.
All right.
I need you all that are listening to give us your transition horror or funny stories. Please, when you listen to this, post them on our Facebook, in the comment sections, wherever. Please send them to us. I need to know them. I need to know if everybody's walking barefoot in porta potties.
Yeah, yeah. And just in for my message in closing, um, transitions are not downtime. Go through them with a purpose. Practice them intentionally. Um, every little bit helps, whether it's from a time perspective or from a mental perspective. And practice what you're going to do in the race. Because if you go in thinking you're going to just muscle through it, you probably will be able to muscle through it, but it might not be the best experience. So
Or
those
at least
are
something
those are
to
my
learn from,
takeaways.
right?
Right.
Yeah. Grace, what are your wise words to close us out?
Kick those legs before you get out of the water. Don't want to face plant and end your whole race.
Nope.
And have fun.
And
Have fun.
definitely have fun. There's lots of people in this community that do it. There's some really good athletes. Um, I don't think we give shout outs very often, but we've had Karen and Mary on, and there's just so many people that support us that deserve to be mentioned. And Liz Hudson's one of them. She's so funny. Every time she sees us, she's like, I feel like I just talked to you guys, because we know she listens. So it's awesome that she's supporting. And Carlos, we've ridden with Carlos, did a practice ride in Rockford. He's amazing. World champion, both distances, 70.3 and full. You know, I'll throw out there Dale Mitchell, guys. You guys, I've told you the story. He was in a pretty nasty bike crash. We talked with Dr. Herbenek about his injury, and it's a pretty bad one. He has some fractures in his pelvis, and he's not able to do Rockford, and he's trying to get his uh, registration converted to a relay, and we're trying to find some people that want to do the relay with them. And so it looks like we've got the people. So now we just need to see if they're going to let them switch to a relay. So, but I just just shout out to anybody you guys can think of too. I don't want to forget anybody, but those are some of the people that always constantly support us. Curry, always get a text, hey, nice job on the podcast.
Yeah. And these are all the people that we get our advice from because, again, this community is so giving and super supportive. So, yes.
Yeah. And one of our friends, or one of my friends, you guys haven't met him yet, Eric Poley, he's the badass cyclist that whenever you guys ask me a question that I don't have the answer to, that's who I call. I rode with him a couple weeks ago and invited him to come on at some point as our cycle expert, our true cycle expert, and he'll come on. But hopefully one day you guys get to ride with him and see what a real badass is like.
Heck yeah. Let's go.
Yes.
Flying
sure.
mounts, flying dismounts with him.
Yeah.
I feel like we need some Nacho Libre costumes for that.
Yes. Even better. Forget the tri kits, Nacho Libre costumes.
There we go.
All right.
All right. Well, the countdown is on. Less than 4 weeks to Rockford.
Ironman number
It's a,
one, summer
it's a,
2026.
yeah, it's exciting. I'll let you know next episode how I do at the Bear Lake Triathlon
Yeah,
in
good
the
luck this weekend.
frigid water. But cool. Well, this has been fun. I think hopefully it's been helpful. If people listening have questions and you made it this far, send us your questions. We'll happy to answer.
Thanks for
Thanks,
listening.
everybody.
All right. See you next time.
Bye.
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 So that's a wrap on today's episode of Manhattan Tri Club Leading from the Front. If you made it this far, amazing. You're officially one of us now, slightly unhinged, mildly obsessed, and probably thinking about your next workout. If you liked our episode, do us a favor, follow, subscribe, download, all the things. Send this to your training buddy who needs to hear this, or the one who definitely did everything we just said not to, kind of like Chad. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. And don't forget to follow along on Instagram and Facebook. All the things are at Manhattan Tri Club. You can find us there for workouts, chaos, and whatever we're getting ourselves into next. And hey, if you see us at a race, a group run, or just out on the roads, definitely come by and say hi. We're the ones having the most fun and probably talking about triathlon a little bit too much. So until next time, keep showing up, keep pushing forward, and as always, lead from the front.